Welcome to the Basketball Diary. I'm Wu. This is Devin Williams, 10,000 hours. He's here in the East Coast. Got a moment to grab him. What's going on, man?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm all right. You have a very interesting story right now. A lot of people love who you are, what you're doing for the community in basketball. And earlier in previous videos on your previous account, you shared a little bit about who you were, but there's not much of it right now. And I want to talk a little bit about that, your process of from high school to college and how you got here.
I guess it started when I was from high school. It started when I was in ninth grade. I played varsity for a school called Bay Academy. I did all right for a freshman. I was very fortunate to be in the position that I was in. I mean, not a lot of people are able to play freshman. Play varsity at a freshman level. So I learned from a lot of older guys, and I got better. But then I ended up transferring to a school. Think about me. Before I get to that, I played for a winning program. We won state while I was there. The thing about me is just that I thought I loved basketball, but I didn't. I thought I loved playing it. I love watching it. I grew up a Laker fan. Literally every game I watched, from when Kobe was there, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel. I grew up idolizing Nick Van Exel when Dale Harris was coaching the team. And I just love basketball. I love watching basketball. But as far as playing it, like I said, I won a state championship. The moment I stepped out into the Arco Arena where the Sacramento Kings play, I wasn't nervous. I never felt like that feeling of the butterflies in your stomach. I never knew what that felt like, And then I guess in the 11th grade, the year that we won state, I had a really good summer. The first time I really found out about AAU. I wasn't one of those guys that had been playing since 8th grade.
Right.
I wasn't a huge talent, but I was good though, right? Guys, it was pretty fancy, get people standing up, but I didn't really understand basketball. Our generation, a lot of guys were like, I don't need a screen, clear out. We can take this dude one-on-one, but that's not necessarily basketball. When you get to college level, you start understanding, okay, there's so much help. You can't do that. It's help defense. So make a long story short, started with AAU, got on the team, I was solid, did well, but I ended up overusing myself. I was playing basketball all the time. I was naturally athletic because of my father, really fast, jumped high, but I didn't work out. Nobody told me. I didn't have a trainer. I didn't have anybody that would just tell me the little things like a lot of these kids have nowadays. They're very fortunate to do that. And so I ended up getting hurt, really bad tendonitis in my knees, and a lot of scholarships that I did acquire in a short amount of time that I did play, they went away. So I ended up having to go, I went to Fresno State. Fresno State was, I didn't know how walk-ons work. I think I had an opportunity to go to San Francisco State University, scholarship, right? But I wanted to play D1. Nobody could tell me any different because I had the offers. Like, I had a chance to play Division I basketball, but it all went away once I got hurt, and that hurt. Mentally that hurt. So I'm gonna go walk on and just kill. And when I got there, the way things are set up, you're not meant to be able to get playing time if you're not on scholarship. The guys who are on scholarship, they're gonna play. Of course they're gonna earn their spot, but still, I wasn't given a fair opportunity, and it's only fair for them. The guys on scholarship. So can't just have a guy walking on and this and that. People don't know how it works. So make a long story short, I went to a JC. I went to a JC and then went to a Division II and finished out my career there.
Which school did you go to eventually in San Francisco?
It was I went to a school called Skyline first, which is a JC, which I also played at. And then after that, I had a few opportunities to play Division II basketball at a few different schools, but I chose to go to the Academy of Art because I figured, hey, man, look, I'm not playing Division I. My knees are always hurting. Probably, I got to be smart about this, so I'm probably not going to make it to the NBA right off top like that, So I might as well just get my education and find something I'm good at. I had no clue what I wanted to do. So I went to the Academy of Art and I originally went for graphic design, then I changed the major up to editing.
Really? Why'd you change it?
Because I sucked at graphic design. My mom was a graphic designer, and
Okay.
I knew Photoshop. My mom taught me Photoshop, a couple classes that I took. So I kind of gravitated and thought like just because I know how to do things in Photoshop, I could take graphic design, but it doesn't work like that. You know, there's a lot of things, there's text, there's all kind of things that I didn't know that go into graphic design.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be a part of that. That's not what I love. But when I took editing, when I switched to, it wasn't technically editing. I wanted to be an edit major, right? But they didn't have exactly that. They had motion pictures and television, and they also had what is it called with the news? Multimedia.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, my advisor, I said, I don't want to do anything that is news related. And he put me right in multimedia for whatever reason. But I ended up like editing stuff on my own, you know, and doing my own projects, and I fell in love with that. And the first time I showed somebody a video, that was the first time I felt the feeling of butterflies being in your stomach. So
Right,
that's
because
how I
they see
knew.
the work,
Yeah.
the illusion.
Well, no, but on top of that, I mean, a lot of people do that. But that was the first time I felt like I loved something because I'd never been nervous until that point. Because I thought I was having a heart attack and my heart started beating really hard.
You weren't training at that point.
No, that was like, no,
Okay.
no, right before.
So the chicken and egg question, it was editing first.
Yeah, I started training. I started training first. I mean, I started editing first because of the major thing.
Right. So you went to the school.
Yeah.
You took up editing. And what was your final project for class? Like, how did the guys like Kyle and Matt came along?
Well, basically, I mean, it's the combination of training and editing that I really, really love, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole story is I was done playing basketball, just finishing up, right?
Yeah.
And this kid came up and said, "You want to train me?" I'm like, "Train you for what? I don't know anything about training, you know?" He was like, "I don't know, let's just train." I'm like, "All right, let's just go to the gym." In my head, I'm like, "What is this? What's wrong with this dude?" You know, so we ended up working out, and from the time that we started to the time that we ended, I saw him get better as far as his dribbling goes. So I'm like, "Well, I kind of like that." And then he said, like, a few days later, he was like, "Can my brother come?" I'm like, "You want to work out again? Like, for what?" You know, he's just like, "I don't know. I just want to work out. Just want to get better, get as I can get." I'm like, "All right, let's go then. Let's work out." So his brother got better. He got better. And they both kept getting better. So I'm like, man, I kind of like this stuff. So we went for months on end. And I guess 2 months later, about a month later, probably not even that far, it was like 2 weeks, I ended up making a video about the process because the class assignment in one of my classes was like day in the life. What do you do every day? You know, you brush your teeth, you know, you get up, you go do whatever you do. And my thing that I was doing for that particular day was going to train basketball. So I made a video about it. And I didn't have a hard drive to save the video on, so I saved it on YouTube. And
Right.
Then it blew up. That's the whole story. So I started editing first.
You created the moniker 10,000 hours in the basketball community. What was the reason using Malcolm Gladwell's theory?
Because I never liked reading. No, seriously. I think up until that point, I read a full book, and the only full book that I read was like Holes.
Okay.
Or like Lord of the Flies, one of them.
All right.
And somebody just told me, "Hey, read this book," and I started reading it. And at the same time, I was doing the editing and I was doing the training. So I was like, oh, I could apply this theory, and just because it's a theory, right? I just tested it out to see, you know, what it would work. So I started calling that. It's not a surefire thing that if you put in 10,000 hours, you'll become great. You know, it's just a theory. You know, I'm pretty sure some people put in 10,000 hours of something that didn't work. You know, something that wasn't effective, and, you know, they just ended up wasting a bunch of time. So that's what I applied it to that situation, and just to see what would happen. And up until this point, the kids haven't became great. I haven't been training for 10 years, and that's normally supposedly how long it takes, you know?
Yeah.
It's just more about the process, because you don't actually count the hours. You don't count the hours, you just fall in love with the process. You just keep doing it.
You recommend people reading Gladwell's book? I mean, I read it. It's a great book.
Yeah, it's incredible. Most definitely, because it teaches you more about just, you know, practicing. There's a lot that comes with being great. Like, you have to have the right opportunity. A lot of it is just luck, good timing, you know. So, like me, I just had good timing for what I did. Like, had I came out with that video right now, I mean, a million people have the same video right now.
Yeah.
You know, I just became addicted to it, so I was able to become a little bit better over time. I'm not great still, you know, as far as editing and training or whatever. I'm still learning. I'll always be learning.
What's the process for you going into editing a video? How do you visualize what's the storytelling?
I listen to music. So when I hear certain music, I envision the scene in my head. I'm in a dark room. It sounds weird, but I'm in a dark room, and I listen to music, and then it just kind of plays like this kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it's this picture in my head, and then I'm able to edit the video, based off of what I do. But this isn't something that's acted out at the same time, like this is real life. I show people failing on camera, and because it's real life. I don't want people to get just think that this is just magic, things that are happening. This is magical. This isn't Disneyland. It's real. Like I'm trying to make sure people understand. Like you learn things from being a basketball player, about being in a team. You learn from being in a team with a group of people. I learned how to. I work with a lot of people right now, right?
Yeah.
Guys from BallIsLife, guys, that help me with the clothing that I have, and
Right.
I learned how to manage personalities or use people to their best ability just by being on the team. Like if I could share the ball and I get this guy to be wide open, he's gonna hit the shot. If I can motivate this guy to want to rebound, he'll rebound the ball. And what happens is the team gets better, not just me, And I don't do things for selfish reasons. It's mostly to see other people get better. But one thing that I do know is just like, okay, if I do something really well, for another person, it'll allow me to get better. I learned that for sure. Like if you help somebody, you'll actually end up helping yourself.
Yeah.
But most people kind of think into that like.
Why should we help them?
No, they'll think like into that like for it to be a thing for themselves.
Yeah.
Instead, I have like good intentions on like say I want to do something for you. I'll actually really want to do something well without expecting any money back or anything like that because I understand like. It'll come back tenfold, but I don't mind if it doesn't, I just want I actually want to see you get better. Like all the players that come through my program or my training services, I want them to actually become better people. You know what I mean? Because I get something out of that. Opposed to me just trying to do everything to build my program. Like I could go to just hunt down NBA players and say, can I train you? Just for my selfish reasons, but that's not what I do because I fell in love with the process. I fell in love with watching people get better. That's what I love, and I put it on film. That's all it is.
Now, explain to the audience out there, for those who don't cut videos, they don't understand how hard it takes to put a 5-minute story or longer.
Yeah, some people are always like commenting like, "Why does it take so long for the videos to come out?" That's the way I feel about movies. Like, how bad I want the second Avengers to come out. And they have how many $1 million budget? I don't have a budget. So I'm doing things. I'm training guys all across the world, and I edit things when I have time to do it. And it's tough because I'm trying to get to everybody, but the problem is I don't want to spread myself too thin.
That's right.
And I know I can't save everybody. I know I can't help it. I don't want you to save. I can't help everybody. My thing is I got to go after a certain amount of individuals and pass on the positivity to them, and hopefully they can keep doing it to others and see them succeed. But if I just try to go everywhere and do everything perfect, it's not going to work for me that well. And eventually I end up crashing and burning.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, the whole editing process, it takes a long time. From looking over the footage. Sometimes I have like days of footage that I gotta look through, and that's hard to do on its own.
Oh.
Then I gotta log what happens during that footage, then I gotta edit, and sometimes you don't just wanna put anything on the timeline, you want it to be creative, right?
Right.
And sometimes your creative block just isn't working, especially when you're tired from working guys out and this and that. I have essentially 2 jobs, but I love doing both, so that's why it takes so long. It's just, I'm everywhere trying to do everything, and sometimes I am spreading myself too thin, and sometimes I'm like, okay, let me just focus on this video, and even still, it takes a long time. Like, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I edited for like 7 hours. It got 1 minute on the timeline.
You edited yesterday 7 hours, and you also trained yesterday, right?
Well, yeah, I trained for like 2 hours, so it's like it's a full-time job. But the thing is, I'm not doing anything I hate doing. I love doing it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take it back for the world, but people complain about it, but about the timing of the videos, I can't.
You should have came to the YouTube office.
I'd rather, yeah. I just got a chance to sign up for the space there so I can go edit, but I'd rather deliver quality than quantity. Any
absolutely.
day,
You got two separate kind of playlists out there. One is In the Lab, the other one is 10,000 Hours.
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit more.
In the lab is just, I came up with that thing because I was literally in the computer lab, like teaching myself things, right?
Yeah.
And you always hear like, I'm going to the lab, or I'm in the lab, whether it be like, photos or about somebody playing basketball, or literally scientists in the lab or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
But in the lab is more so training, things that we do. I have no secrets. I learned all the secrets that I have are on TV, and that's where I learned them from. Like how to become a better basketball player, it's all on TV. All the drills that you can develop, it's on TV, but people just don't understand that. I just look at what happens mostly in the game, and then I apply it to my training. So that's what In the Lab is. All the drills that we do, shooting on balance, being, very precise, making good decisions, that's In the Lab. 10,000 Hours is the documentaries,
Yep.
hour-long, 30-minute-long documentaries that are more about the story than just about getting up shots, It's more, it shows the whole process.
Your next, I guess, I'm just going to ask you, because everybody else asked you, your next project probably will be out later on this year.
This, like in June.
June?
Yeah.
What's the running time?
I don't know, honestly. I never really know. I just make the video, ever long it ends up being. And that's just what it is. I don't have like a time, time on it. I just want to get the message across as good as I can. As long as it's interesting, I keep people's interest the whole video, then it's good. If not, I have to cut it down. So it'll be long, but it won't go 2 hours. I'll never edit a video like 2 hours. It's just too much on me because I'm working by myself. I don't have a bunch of people helping me edit it,
We're going to pay some rent. We'll be right back. So you got into training when you were doing the editing and everything, and it just kind of blossomed out into this big wave out in California, or internationally and globally and internet-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Was that literally the time training became very serious for you, or like when you met Kyle and Matt, or was it like a little bit further on?
It was just like, it just happened steadily, like over time. Like things started to blow up and I didn't really know that they were blowing up. Like I guess the first video that I've ever put out, I put it, like I said, I saved it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it didn't blow up right away. Somebody contacted me and was like, hey, your video's on Reddit. I'm like, what's Reddit? Reddit's like huge.
Right.
He's like, man, that's a big deal. I looked on there, I had 10,000 views. Literally 10,000. So, and then it kept growing and growing. Like coincidentally, it had 10,000 views the first time I checked it.
Yeah.
And it just kept growing and 100,000. So I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like people are actually watching that. People actually know who I am all across the globe. And, we just put out a little video that, these guys aren't, ranked players.
Right.
I'm not a crazy like NBA trainer or anything. I'm just a regular guy. And throughout time, it just kept growing and kept growing. I'm like, whoa, this is turning into something, And people would spot me at the BART. A BART is like Subway. People would spot me on the street.
Yeah.
People would ask me to sign autographs. I'm like, why they asking me to sign autographs? It's like, I just put out a little video, but the one thing I noticed, it touched people. Like the video touched people and inspired people to do something a lot better. One of the craziest stories that I have about this whole process is that I had a guy reach out to me, and I don't know what happened with this email. I can't find it for the life of me, but he sent me something and it almost made me cry. So he actually, it did make me cry. He said, I watched your video, man, it meant a lot to me. I'm a kid with cancer, and you encouraged me to keep on fighting, and I just want to thank you for that. And I was just like, whoa. Like when I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is like crazy.
It's crazy how when people reach out, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, so for all I know, he could have passed away, but to see something like that, it just changes your life. And that was when I first got going, and that really made me start really going on this whole video series.
Any interesting folks reaching out? besides the story you just shared about the kid with the cancer, um, anybody interesting that came out, hit you up, hey, love to work out, or
I get emails every day. I have like, if you look at my phone, it's like 49,000 emails, and that's what I said. I can't get to everybody because there's only one of me. I could even have a team, but still 49,000 people. That's a lot. Everybody's asking like, can I train with you? Or I just came off an injury and my coach doesn't believe in me. Like I get a lot of stories like that, and my heart goes out to them. But I know that I can't be everywhere at one time. I can only just do what I can do. That's why on Instagram and YouTube, I try to put out as many videos as possible for me.
Yeah.
So that people can see it and just utilize what they have, the things that they have. So,
how about what's the craziest request you ever gotten? Strangest?
It's all the same. It's just all the same. Just can you come train me,
In some island.
Yeah. And most people want me to do it for free, which, it's tough to do it because everything in life costs. Pretty much everything.
The good stuff in life.
Yeah. Well, they're free. Like some of them, like the best feelings that I get that I don't have to pay money to get those.
Yeah.
The feeling that I got being in China, I didn't have to pay a dime for that. It was just like seeing people that really love what I do. It feels great.
Yeah.
Are inspired. Like that feels great. But to travel and to give your time to somebody and do all this other stuff, that takes money. So a lot of people ask me to do it for free, and I'm not able to. Especially starting off, because a lot of people didn't know when episode 1 was going. I didn't have any money really.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going with videos, and it just accidentally turned into something. So here I am today.
Which player you like to study the most in the league?
No, there's no players nowadays that I really study. It's most. You'll see videos that I kind of like do a move that they do, but all the guys, that I really look at are older.
Which era? Like
90s,
the 90s,
late 90s, early 2000s, because they're tougher. Like I said, I grew up a Laker fan. I've seen every Magic Johnson game too, so
wow.
I like those type of games a lot better than nowadays, where they're not able to, use a lot of contact and everybody's just really nice. And I'm an old school guy, I like older basketball, how things were ran and the toughness. And it may sound crazy, but people didn't like each other. They were fighting each other.
Oh yeah. Back in the days.
Like people love drama, and I love that type of stuff. The competition is what makes basketball, not just drills and just little things like that. It's the competition. That's why people want to see, because they don't know what's going to happen. So I watch a lot of older games where things were crazy. The playoffs have been heating up lately, but for the most part of the season, you got people resting and all this, that, and the other, and that's a whole different topic. But when I look for training, all this other stuff, I go back to the old days and see how people did it. Like I learned from the past.
When you went to Adidas last year, you went to China last year with Adidas. How was that trip?
It was great. It was the best time I ever had in my life. It was great food. The people were really nice to me, which I didn't expect. It's a totally different life in China. A lot of people will be turned off by the fact of going to China. Me, I just want to, see a different culture. And that's the thing about basketball. It takes you so many different places. And fortunately, it took me to China, where I literally had the best time of my life. I literally ate the best food that I've ever had in China.
First time overseas, or?
Yeah, I guess. No, yeah, it is. It's the first time I went to China or anywhere near. So, and it was great. It was absolute fantastic experience. People love basketball over there.
Yeah, tell me about the hoop scene over there.
They're crazy. There's not much. They don't have a lot of courts like inside gyms that we have. We're very fortunate in America to have more gyms than those guys do. They play a lot outside, but that's the thing. They just love basketball. Without the training and everything, they're still out there hooping.
If you could do only one, training or editing?
Well, it's editing, but the thing about that, I love the combination, so it's tough. So I'm not really. It's a tough question. I go back and forth with, because I love editing more than I do training. But what I value the most is the relationships that I build with the younger guys. Like I don't go after older guys more consistent. Not anymore. I'd rather have younger guys that, I can train up and from one point to another. And that's what I value, seeing those guys grow. It makes me emotional, know.
Now, okay, right now the NBA it's a little different from what we're talking about in the '90s. If you could be an NBA player, who would you be?
I wouldn't want to be anybody in the NBA. I don't envy like.
No. I mean, skill wise.
Nobody.
Nobody.
My whole life, I wanted to be in the NBA. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. Right.
Yeah.
And for a while, I was very envious of being those guys. Because they were where I wanted to be at one point. But now that I kind of look at the lifestyle that everybody lives and, going through the experience that I've been through, I wouldn't want to be anybody but myself. Literally, I wouldn't anybody. Mark Cuban, Kevin Durant, none of those guys. As far as like, if I were to train myself to be like a certain player, Steph Curry's the MVP. He's a great shooter. He's probably gonna have a long career. The way that he plays, unfortunately, he started off getting hurt a lot. But nowadays, being the type of player that he is, he's very humble. He's shooting the ball very well. I like the way he conducts his business. He's leading the team. Probably may go to the championship. Who knows? But that's the type of player that I want to be.
Yeah, guys. Speaking of leading them to the championship, that leads to the next question. What's your predictions for the conference finals?
Well, the only thing I could hope for is just people to get healthy. That's good for the sport. If everybody's hurt and they're competing at half speed, then it's not going to be fun to watch. But I hope the Warriors and the Cavs get there. I would love to see Steph Curry, LeBron, Kyrie, all those guys going at each other opposed to, one thing I did not want was the Memphis Grizzlies versus Atlanta Hawks. They're good for basketball, but bad for the NBA as far as money goes and keeping the sport going and people getting excited about it. So I love San Antonio. They're good for the NBA as far as, they're good for basketball as far as sharing the ball and team concepts. But people don't get crazy excited to watch them. But one thing last year that they did change is they made team basketball look really cool, Yeah. But now a lot of those guys getting older. Ginobili looks like, he almost doesn't know how to play basketball. One of my favorite players, coming up, I loved him and I hated him because I was a Laker fan. So, but I respect him at the same time. So, but yeah. Golden State. What I really want is Golden State versus the Clippers right now at Western Conference Finals, but them giving that game up to Houston, it was crazy.
Now, talk about your collaboration with BallIsLife in the recent months.
Well, BallIsLife
joined together, and you got some apparel going on.
Yeah, they help. I help them, and they help me. I help them produce content. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do as much as I want to, but I always got their gear on representing them because they helped me grow a lot bigger than what I ever could help myself. And together each achieve more, and being a part of that team helped me grow. And it's been great seeing them grow, and it's been great growing with them. They helped me with my apparel because what I tried to do is sell all my stuff by myself, ship it, and do all this stuff, design it, and it's impossible to do everything by yourself. You just go crazy. And BallIsLife has been able to help me ship everything out and put it on their website and help me market it. So it's been a good relationship that we have, and I put their watermark on my videos and everything. It's great, man. There's a bunch of good guys that's working over there.
You got this shirt. You got another one. It's like a hand.
Yeah, I have a lot
string.
of stuff.
Do you have any more coming up?
Yeah, I have some stuff coming out with the video.
Okay.
So it's just been great. It's weird seeing people walk around with your gear on, something that you helped design.
Right.
So, and that's big to me.
What's the plans for the rest of the summer?
Go back to China for 2 months.
Adidas?
Yeah,
okay.
they're helping me
2
out
months.
again.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Multi-city grassroots tour?
4 different cities.
Different ones from last year? Or?
One different one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's going to be a great time. I absolutely can't wait to go.
And anything else lined up besides going to China for 2 months?
Not at all. I'm trying not to look too far in the future, but yeah.
So you got to brush up your Mandarin.
I've been trying, man. It's tough, and I don't really know that much, man.
What you got?
The best way, I mean, I know how to count. I know how to say hello. I know how to ask for the bathroom. But the thing is, what I learned is the best way to go. The best way to learn Chinese is to actually be there. Like when I was there, I was learning so much from them. When I left, I forgot. So I'm going to start taking like these little classes before I go.
Okay.
And I gotta really brush up. But right now I'm very, very rusty. I don't really know how to pronunciate things, you know.
Yeah.
So I have to get back on it, and I know that I'm gonna learn a lot when I go, which is great.
So but you remember how to count 1 to 10 right now?
8, son, o, chio, li, pa. I guess.
That's very good. Yeah. That's very good.
Yeah. So,
and how about
the pronunciation?
Hello? No, I mean it's still good. How about hello?
Oh, it's just ni hao, like yeah. So,
wow, this man knows everything.
You know Mandarin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
absolutely.
Hopefully I can get there one day.
You know. Now, what's the best way for people to reach you? Obviously, email.
In the lab training at gmail.com.
That's
all it is right there.
Yeah, 49, more than 49
Well,
emails
I'm getting better because I got people helping me out with it now, but back then I wasn't.
And Twitter and Instagram is 10.
TEN000 hours for Twitter and Instagram.
And YouTube is official.
Shift Team HQ. Shift Team HQ.
It's official Shift Team HQ.
Well, we shorten it.
Oh, you shortened it already?
Which is a lot easier than official Shift Team.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say?
I got absolutely nothing else to say. Just, when these videos come out, share it, man. I'm trying to do the best as I can to spread a positive word. So hopefully that people can keep sharing it and spreading the word. That'll be great for me. Because I'll never ask for a penny for these videos, you know?
Yeah.
So that's it.
Devin, this is the man right here. Ball is life.